Hi everyone, and welcome back to Clean Eating Kitchen. I'm Carrie, and this is my channel where I share easy, real food recipes to help you feel your best. And today we are making the easiest gluten-free and dairy-free pumpkin pie. So can you believe it is already the holiday season? I can't believe it, but I want to share this easy recipe with you. I know we're getting a little bit close to Thanksgiving, but hopefully you can still have time to get the ingredients you need to make this delicious, allergy-friendly pumpkin pie for your friends and family this year. If you're new here, then you may not know that I share gluten-free and dairy-free recipes. I am personally a survivor of autoimmune disease and other chronic health conditions. And so I eat a restricted diet to help manage my symptoms. And so I want to share these recipes with you in case that you have to eat in a similar fashion, or maybe you're cooking for somebody who has to eat this way. But as I mentioned, this pumpkin pie is so easy. Let me show you how to make it. And also be sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share some holiday survival tips to make it easier to get through this season when you're dealing with chronic health issues.
So the first thing I want to tell you is that this recipe for gluten-free, dairy-free pumpkin pie is on my website, cleaneatingkitchen.com, and I'm going to show you how you can scroll down. And I always have a printable recipe for each recipe post. I have step-by-step photo steps so you can see exactly how to do it, and nutrition information and everything. So I will put the link to that in the description box so you can get the printable recipe. And here are the ingredients that you'll need for this pumpkin pie. And just to be clear, it's made using canned coconut milk. So that is what replaces the milk or the cream or whatever dairy product you would use in a regular traditional pumpkin pie. And also, to be clear, I do not make my own crust. Remember, we're trying to make the holidays easy this year. So I buy these gluten-free pie crusts. They are also dairy-free. And then this coconut whipped topping, I feel like this brand By So Delicious is pretty much the cleanest non-dairy topping that I've been able to find. And then here I'm showing you how I prepare the pie crust because it's frozen and you have to let it sit out for a little bit while you preheat your oven and get the pumpkin pie filling made. And so as the base, we are using 2 large eggs, and I am using coconut sugar here to sweeten the pie filling. You could also use white sugar. I just always have coconut sugar in my pantry, and I prefer it over white sugar. Has a slightly lower on the glycemic index. But I will make a note, or I want to make a note to you, that if you use coconut sugar as opposed to white sugar, your pumpkin pie will be a lot darker. You may have noticed that in the beginning clips, and that it almost looks like the pumpkin pie is burnt, but it's not. It's because the coconut sugar makes it so dark. Oh, I'm showing you that little spatula that a friend gave me last year. It says, holiday calories don't count. And then I'm adding a 15-ounce can of pure pumpkin puree. And you'll see I noted in the recipe, if you get it from my website, it's not pumpkin pie filling, which that already has like sugar in it. You want pure pumpkin puree. And then I'm adding some coconut milk, and I'm showing you here because you don't need the whole can. So I made a little Ziploc bag that I'm going to freeze the rest of the canned coconut milk so it doesn't go to waste. And I will use it in another recipe. I might make another pumpkin pie for Christmas or New Year's, or I use coconut milk in a lot of other dishes like curries. Anything where I'm replacing milk or cream, I use canned coconut milk. So I added some vanilla, and here I'm adding the pumpkin pie spice, which I know in a lot of places people aren't familiar with pumpkin pie spice, it's cinnamon, ginger, lemon peel, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom. At least that is the mixture sold by Trader Joe's, which is where I purchased this pumpkin pie spice. And then I like to add a little bit extra cinnamon, ground cinnamon. I just really like the flavor in the pumpkin pie, and I don't know, I don't think it's too strong. I think it's perfect. So this pie is just so easy to make. You really just make the filling and pour it into the pie. I will say, I think my coconut milk was a little bit old, and it had kind of some chunks of the coconut fat had kind of like congealed, and so um, the pie, it looks like there's stuff in the mixture, but you can see it all kind of melts together. And here's what I was talking about, how the pumpkin pie looks like it's burnt. If you use coconut sugar, if you use white sugar, it will be just a normal orange color like pumpkin pie normally is. So that is how I make the recipe. It is a household favorite at my house. I make at least 2 a year, and sometimes more, because my husband and I really love it. And then again, just to make things easy, I like to buy the pre-made coconut milk with a topping, and it's really perfect. And so please let me know if you make it. I would love to know if you make it this year.
So I know this time of year can be really stressful. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of expectations about what the holidays should be like, but especially if you're dealing with chronic health issues, there are some things that you need to remember to take care of yourself and hopefully make this time of year more enjoyable and less stressful. So my first tip is to think of a plan of how you want the holiday season to go. And that could be anything from having it be a cozy season to having it be filled with friends or maybe certain meals that you want to make. But if you kind of have a general idea of what you want to do, and then you can, and how you want to feel during this season, then you can kind of plan your time around that. And just to give you an idea of how I make that work for me, many years ago, I would say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I did the typical thing where I traveled around the holidays to be with family. It was incredibly stressful, and partially because my family is not, let's just say, a little bit on the dysfunctional side, and so it wasn't like traveling and putting up with a lot of stress, and then it would be really happy easy time. It ended up being very stressful. So if you're in that situation or whatever situation you're in, I would just say to put some boundaries around your time and your needs. And so you make the holidays what is special for you. And even if that means breaking some traditions, but it's your life and it's your health. And so I would really emphasize to do what you need to do to make this time good for you. So in addition to setting some boundaries with your family and with your time and making a plan, I would also say that you will need to be flexible because things change. Of course, you know that. And just have that in your mind that maybe you have a rough schedule or a rough idea of how you want the holidays to go, but then you can allow yourself to be flexible. If an invitation comes up and you feel like you want to take advantage of it, then go for it. Another one of my tips is to try to keep to your normal schedule as much as possible. So that means keeping to your exercise routine, to your normal type of diet, to your supplement routine. Even if you're traveling or you're eating things that maybe you normally wouldn't, just try to make an effort on a daily basis to do kind of the basic things to keep yourself healthy that you would do on a normal basis. And my last two tips would be to prioritize rest during the holiday season, during these winter months. If you think about it, this time of year is really meant to be for slowing down, maybe recuperating from the year, maybe taking some time to plan for the new year. And so really take some time to do some restful things, maybe prioritize your sleep and make sure you're getting enough sleep during this time. That can really help you with symptoms and stress management. And then my last tip is to practice as much self care as you can. And that's going to be different for everybody. For me, that means taking hot baths several times a week. I have a sauna that I purchased last year, and now it's finally getting a little chilly. So I'm more inclined to use it. It can mean really anything. It's going to be very individual, but understand that self care is not selfish. It's actually really important because when you take care of yourself, then you can take care of others more effectively. And that is really everything I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a wonderful, happy, and healthy holiday season. And I'm going to link to my cinnamon sweet potato bread recipe. It's several years old, but it's a really great recipe. It's warming and comforting. It's gluten-free and dairy-free. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.